Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The DTC U0127 indicates a communication loss between the Gauge Control Module, GCM, and the Tire Pressure Monitoring System, TPMS, control unit. This error is crucial as it affects the ability of the vehicle to accurately monitor tire pressure, a vital safety feature. The Gauge Control Module is responsible for receiving and transmitting data from various sensors to ensure the driver is alerted to any tire pressure issues. The TPMS control unit is specifically tasked with evaluating tire pressures and communicating issues to the GCM, enabling the dashboard warning lights to function correctly. If there are problems with this communication, the TPMS indicator remains illuminated, alerting the driver of potential tire issues without storing additional DTCs. The purpose of this guide is to assist with diagnosing and correcting the issue represented by DTC U0127 in the affected Honda Odyssey models. The DTC U0127 specifically points to a malfunction between the Gauge Control Module and the TPMS control unit. The GCM is designed to collect and process sensor data from the TPMS, which directly monitors tire pressure levels. This communication failure may result from loose connections, wire issues, or unit failures. The Gauge Control Module is typically located within the vehicle's dashboard, serving as the central hub for multiple indicator lights, including the tire pressure signal. The TPMS control unit, also essential for tire pressure management, is located elsewhere in the vehicle, connected via specialized wiring known as F-CAN or fault CAN bus. If the communication link between these two modules is broken, the TPMS indicator lights will remain illuminated, signaling a problem despite the absence of stored DTCs. There are several possible causes for the DTC U0127. Firstly, loose or corroded connections between the Gauge Control Module and the TPMS control unit can disrupt communication. This can often occur due to age, vibrations, or environmental factors such as moisture or dirt. Secondly, wiring issues could lead to an open circuit or short circuit between the two components, preventing effective data transmission. A faulty TPMS control unit might be responsible if it fails to send necessary tire pressure data to the GCM. Lastly, issues may also arise from a malfunction in the Gauge Control Module itself, which could improperly receive or process data. Identifying the precise cause requires systematic diagnosis and testing of each component involved in the communication process. The symptoms of the DTC U0127 primarily manifest as a constant illumination of the TPMS indicator on the dashboard. When this indicator remains lit, it signals a fault either in the communication link or within the TPMS system itself. Additionally, you may notice that no other DTCs are recorded, which can sometimes lead to confusion during diagnostics. This condition indicates that while the system is aware there is a problem, it cannot specify the nature of that problem due to the loss of communication. Poor communication could ultimately lead to the driver being unaware of actual tire pressure issues, thereby compromising vehicle safety. Observationally, any issues with tire pressure monitoring can lead to an augmented risk of tire failure, further underlining the importance of addressing DTC U0127. To initiate troubleshooting for DTC U0127, the first step is to clear any existing DTCs using the Honda Diagnostics System, HDS. The HDS is a sophisticated tool designed to communicate with the vehicle's onboard computer systems for fault diagnostics. After clearing the codes, it's crucial to turn the ignition switch to the lock position and then back to the on position. This process resets the vehicle's electronic systems and can sometimes clear transient faults. Alternatively, if your vehicle has an engine start-stop button, pressing it to turn the vehicle off and then back on will achieve the same result. This step is essential as it allows the system to re-establish communication pathways and can help in identifying whether the issue is persistent or an isolated incident. Next, you should wait for at least 6 seconds after cycling the ignition. This waiting period gives the system sufficient time to initialize and check for any issues that may re-emerge. After this duration, you will proceed to use the Honda Diagnostics system again to check for DTCs. This step is important to detect if DTC U0127 is still present. If the DTC comes up again after the reset, it indicates that a persistent fault exists within the communication chain. However, if the DTC does not appear, it may suggest either an intermittent failure or that the system is functioning correctly at this moment. Continue the troubleshooting process if the DTC reappears. The next step involves checking for any other tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS, diagnostic trouble codes using the HDS. This is crucial because other TPMS-related codes may provide insight into further diagnostic avenues or indicate additional problems affecting the system. If the HDS indicates that other DTCs are present, it's necessary to go through the respective troubleshooting process for those codes before returning to address DTC U0127. This approach ensures that you do not overlook other potential issues that could be impacting system communication. On the contrary, if no other DTCs show up, you can proceed with the next step, targeting the gauge control module and the TPMS unit specifically. It's time for more hands-on troubleshooting, starting with turning the ignition switch to the lock position. This is a safety precaution that ensures no electrical power is sent to the components while you work on them. After securing the ignition, you will need to disconnect the gauge control module's 32P connector, which is integral to the vehicle's dashboard and houses vital communication pathways. Next, disconnect the 20P connector from the TPMS control unit. These two steps are crucial for testing the integrity of the connections and wiring. By isolating these components, you can better diagnose if the issue lies within the connections or the units themselves. Following the disconnection of the modules, the next critical step is to check for continuity between the gauge control module and the TPMS control unit. Specifically, you must check the continuity between connector terminals number 19 and number 20 on the 32P connector of the GCM and terminals number 9 and number 20 on the 20P connector of the TPMS. Continuity testing verifies whether there is a solid electrical connection allowing data to pass through. If continuity is present, it indicates that the wiring and components are functioning correctly. However, if continuity is absent, it could signify either a break in the wires or poor connections, contributing to the communication failure. If you find that there is continuity between the connectors, you should proceed to substitute a known good TPMS control unit. This replacement aims to determine if the original TPMS unit is faulty. Upon installing the new TPMS unit, recheck for DTCs using the HDS. If the DTC U0127 disappears, you can conclude that the original TPMS control unit was the issue, and it should be replaced. However, if the DTC persists even after the substitution, the problem could likely originate from the gauge control module itself. In that case, you may need to consider replacing the GCM to resolve the communication issue firmly. In the event of no continuity being found between the connectors, the next step is to repair any open or poor connections identified in the F-CAN wiring. The F-CAN, or fault CAN bus, is responsible for facilitating communication between electronic components like the TPMS and the GCM. Checking for damaged, frayed, or corroded wires is essential at this stage, as these may lead to the loss of communication. Ensure all connectors are secure and free of moisture or corrosion. Once repairs are made, double-check continuity again to confirm that the fix has restored the necessary communication pathways. If continuity is established, you can proceed with further testing to ensure that the TPMS and GCM can effectively communicate. Once repairs have been made, it's vital to verify that the repair was effective. Start by using the Honda Diagnostics system to clear all DTCs. After clearing, turn the vehicle's ignition to the on position and observe if any DTCs reappear, particularly DTC U0127. If the DTC does not come back, it suggests that the communication issue has been resolved successfully. After ensuring that there are no DTCs, check that the TPMS unit operates correctly, including confirming that the indicator light on the dashboard behaves as expected. Functionality tests should also confirm that tire pressure readings are appropriately displayed, indicating successful communication between the components. Preventive maintenance is essential in averting issues like DTC U0127 from arising. Regularly inspecting connections between the gauge control module and TPMS control unit can help identify potential issues early on. Maintaining good wire integrity involves checking for signs of wear, such as fraying or corrosion, that could impede performance. Additionally, consider keeping the electrical connectors clean and free of dirt or moisture to ensure solid connections. During routine maintenance checks, ensure that all dashboard warning lights function correctly, serving as an assurance that all systems are operational. Implementing these preventive measures can significantly reduce the likelihood of communication breakdowns and safeguard against safety risks associated with compromised tire pressure monitoring. In summary, addressing DTC U0127 is crucial for the safety and functionality of the Honda Odyssey's tire pressure monitoring system. The diagnostic steps emphasize the need to identify communication failures between the gauge control module and the TPMS control unit. Systematic troubleshooting, including checking for DTCs and verifying continuity, plays a key role in diagnosing the root cause of the failure. If repairs are necessary, such as replacing faulty components or repairing wiring, prompt action is recommended to restore system functionality. Lastly, taking preventive measures ensures that these components remain in good working condition, reducing the likelihood of future issues and enhancing driver safety. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.